Hello and welcome to another one of my videos where I attempt to take a critical look at topics that are of an interest to me. If you want to suggest a topic or point out something I got wrong, you can do so over at Twitter at CriticalMill or in the comments down below. While you're down there, if you want to go ahead and click that subscribe button to get more videos from me, that'd be great. Or click that like button if you're so inclined. Thank you so much, it would help me out a lot. So this video was in response to Jordan Peterson, who on a recent podcast was asked about his thoughts on same-sex couples raising children. Now, I've linked below to the full podcast so you can get the full context of his statement, but here's a clip of the part I wish to address.
We know this is indisputable, and this is something I've talked to Warren Farrell about. Kids in intact heterosexual families where the father is present do way better on multiple indices than kids who are part of single parent families. Now, that doesn't mean that there are no single parents who do a good job, right? That's not the same bloody claim. Those are different claims. But on average, not only do kids where fathers are present do better, but societies or even local societies where there are more fathers present do better, not only for the kids that they're fathering, but the kids in the neighborhood where there are lots of intact families with fathers do better.
When trying to understand what is the best environment for children to grow up in, it's important to ignore matters of identity. Whereas it is true there are plenty of studies that do show that children who grow up in heterosexual dual-parent households do better than their counterparts, I don't believe that this is telling us that this is the best way to do it and is merely showing a correlation, as we do have children who grow up in homosexual dual-parent households who succeed and single-parent households who do succeed, as Jordan did in fact point out in the statement. And while the studies do in fact show that the children do better when the father is present, this completely ignores any aspects of why. What is it that the father is doing that is making it better? Simply just being there isn't going to increase the chances of the child being successful, as there are plenty of people who have failed at life whose father was in fact present. So when we see studies that show that children who grow up in homosexual households aren't doing as well as children who grow up in heterosexual households, what we need to find is the thing that is exclusive to the successful children, or else all we are seeing is correlation and not causation. One overwhelmingly constant in successful people is that they were allowed to grow and discover the world in their own way. Children who are given proper and healthy boundaries and whose parents didn't project their own insecurity and neuroses onto them succeed across all demographics. When a child is allowed to just be itself and is not constrained by how their parents think they should be, they grow into self-actualized functional adults. And yes, now I understand you can't just let your kids run wild and do whatever they want all the time, but this is where proper and healthy boundaries come into play. Teaching things like self-discipline, work ethic, and responsibility, that does fall on to the parent to teach their child. However, these traits are not exclusive to heterosexuals, nor are they exclusively being able to be taught by heterosexuals to their children, nor is it that even the biological parents need to be the ones that teach it to the children. There are plenty of people who are raised by adoptive parents who grow up to be very successful people. So all the traits that we think of that make up a happy and successful person exist across all demographics and can be taught to a child in a multitude of ways. So whereas studies do show that children who grow up in heterosexual dual-parent households do better than any other configuration, we need to ignore any matter of identity that plays into this and look at the other key factors, such as a dual-parent household. Now, two people working on any particular task are going to more often produce better results than just a single person doing it. So in a household setting, if you have two people, you will often have two incomes. So this is going to alleviate any factors of finance that could produce stress and negative effects on that household. And so I'm going to end this with a quote from the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton. Parenting's tough. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm always interested in other people's opinions. Like and share if you're so inclined. And remember, we're in this together.